16th. I'm doing a final video to wrap up everything that's happened with, I call it the Canon PIXMA scam printer, or Canon PIXMA printer scam. So basically, what happened is, I'll start from the beginning. Our former printer, before this Canon PIXMA, was an expensive, about $250 Brother printer, and I experienced a lot of hacking with that. Even though it was more expensive, it doesn't matter. I guess I mean, if you're hacked, you're hacked. It doesn't matter what kind of printer you have. But what happened was, about a year ago, it just went dead. Well, actually less than a year ago, because we got this Canon PIXMA probably around the time COVID really started, the outbreak started in March. So I would say maybe 6 to 8 months ago, it just went completely dead. And we only had this Brother, this more expensive Brother printer for I think maybe just over a year, probably a year to a year and a half, and it just went dead. No explanation, nothing. It just suddenly went dead. But then a lot of things in the house just go dead, like, you know, our vacuum cleaners, steam cleaners, they just suddenly go dead. So the printer went dead, and then my husband went to Shoppers, which was just at that time, by a very strange coincidence, having a sale on these Canon PIXMAs. So he didn't pay a lot for it. I think it was about $50, but it's what ensues from there. That's where the problem is. The problem is the ink cartridges are, even though they're about $35 each, they yield very little ink. So we were putting in the cartridges. We noticed right away, the very first time when we put the cartridges in, it was only like about a week to 2 weeks after that, the light would, the ink light would come on, like going empty. It would show that it's going empty. So it wasn't lasting. It was absurd how short the lifespan of the cartridge was. And I had paid, the first time I paid $150 for 2 sets of the cartridges. And so just to stress here, they're not cheap. So, you know, you buy 2 cartridges, $70, and they last about a week and a half to 2 weeks. So that's why I call it a scam. The first set I bought, I paid $150. I bought, I think I bought 1 set, and then I bought another set that was a higher yield, but it turned out it wasn't high yield at all. It lasted exactly the same amount of time. Another thing about the printer was that the color, it was not, I use photocopying a lot, but the color photocopying wasn't working. I think my son had managed to print off some color copies with this printer from the computer through print jobs, but the color photocopying was not working at all. There was absolutely no color. So I purchased, you know, these Canon PIXMA color cartridges, but I got absolutely no color. The only color I got was, one time there was a splatter of red, and it just looked like a splatter of blood. And I think I had been working on a video talking about all the blood themes in my life, anywhere from, you know, menstruating at the age of 54, the very strange presentation of the menstruating, the vampire films that come on at specific times, lots of vampire films, satanic films, devil films, they play repeatedly, that kind of thing. I don't want to go on too long about that, but so those are your two main problems. Is that the ink cartridges are expensive and they don't last at all. The yield is unbelievably minimal. The color wasn't working, and oh, when I was working from, this doesn't surprise me because I'm so hacked, I wasn't able to print anything off from the printer. Usually what I do is I photocopy, but I also wasn't able to print anything off from the computer. But I've had a lot of problems when I bought this computer from Best Buy. I have never, even though we got everything set up, we called the Geek Squad technician, I've never been able to print off from this computer. It's always a problem, and that's in my videos. You'll see my videos on YouTube. So basically, I'm going to tell you what happened. So in March, when about the time COVID-19 started, shoppers, after our other printer went dead, just happened to be having this sale on Canon PIXMA. So my husband bought it. Now, as I said, we continued. We bought some cartridges, even though we were extremely disappointed in the product. We bought some cartridges. $150 for two sets, about $70 plus tax for two, a black and a color, but they weren't yielding very much at all. It was I've never seen myself. I've been using printers for decades, professional capacity and personally, and I've never seen anything like it. So now what I decided to do was, one more thing. I called Canon for a second time and told them the same thing is happening, that we're putting new cartridges in, and then a week and a half to 2 weeks later, it's lighting up and it's saying the cartridge is empty, is going empty. And then so what they did was, oh yeah, there's a problem. They sent another one, and this is the second one, brand new. With the same cartridges, and the same thing happened. And so I'm left here. I don't know what to do. I'm left here with a printer that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I mean, you can't say it works when you put in a cartridge and a week and a half later it's empty. That's not functional. It's not functioning properly. So that's the Canon PIXMA scam. So what I decided to do was, the last time I dealt with Canon, they gave us a new printer and they gave us new cartridges. So I decided to compile all the printouts, or I should say photocopies, because I only can do photocopies. I can't print from my computer. I can't do print jobs from my computer. So these are by the way, what you're looking at here is the artwork. It's very discriminate, as you can see. The printer is very discriminate. That's some of the artwork. I'll show you more later, but that's some of the artwork I get from the printer. It's very artistic and discriminate. You can see this whole area. It's funny how the printer just puts plasma in that area. Everything is, and then just the eyes light up in the hair. So to me, that's discriminating. That's not just like a messy mistake. That's like artwork. So I don't know if you understand the difference, but anyway, so what I've done here is I compiled what I got from those two cartridges. So once again, I got no color, although I did use the color option to print. When I use the color option to print, I get black and white. It's exactly the same, or sometimes it just looks a bit darker. That's the color version of the Canon PIXMA scam. So here are, this is what I got. I'm going to try to go through this. So from two cartridges that are about $35 each plus tax. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you look at the pages, you see that the ink is really, it's covering about a quarter of the page, because you've got, this is empty, you put this together, it's about, I would say about a third of the page is being covered in ink. So this is not dense text. This is not a fully inked page. This is a lightly printed page. That's equivalent to about a third of the page in ink. Okay, and some of them only have that much. Okay, and that's another page. This is it, folks. This is what I got from the two brand new cartridges from the Canon PIXMA. That and that and that. Okay, and then this one. Okay, you can see there's very little ink being used here. Like it's only that little screen. And that $35 cartridge. That, no color, absolutely no color. So the color cartridge is completely useless. And that. Oh, and that. And that. Wow. That's what I got from two brand new cartridges. And then there were a few other pages that I couldn't get in, or I didn't have time to. There are a few other pages, maybe up to 10. Okay, but even if I said up to 100, it still just meets the requirement, the standards. No, I would say probably up to 10, maybe a little bit more. I'm trying to be as accurate and fair as possible. But that's it. That's what two $35 cartridges yielded from the Canon PIXMA. Okay, and basically, as well as the it like first, not only does it say it's empty, but then it starts acting really funny. So there's technical interference. In other words, believe me, after 8 years, I have full confidence to say that it's absolutely true, and I have lots of documented evidence. So I just want to show you, this is the kind of thing it does when it's empty, right? So it's discriminate. So once it starts saying it's empty on those lights, then it becomes discriminate as well. In other words, if it likes what you're printing off, it'll print it. If not, it won't, because it's on empty, and it will decide. So one time, this is the kind of thing I photocopy on the Canon PIXMA, okay? So that day, okay, so that's June 8th. That day, it was fine, and it's. I just want to. I want to underscore here that it's been quite a while. I haven't had a printer. I'm not sure what to do. I'm trying to, get some money together to buy a good printer. But I haven't had a printer for a long time already. Okay, and now the next day, so June 8th. June 8th. That's what I got, and then a few days later, that's what I got. To me, like, this has happened many times where it really depends on the content. I was getting these screen images coming up on my phone out of nowhere before I even can put the password in. Before the password prompt comes up, as soon as I pick up the phone, I get these images of this pregnant-looking woman saying. Night fuck or fuck N-I-G. I don't know what that means. My son looked at it and said it means nigger. I thought it meant night. So when I tried to print that off, this is what I got. But then just a few days later, it was working absolutely fine. And then what'll happen is, and then the next day, depending on what I'm photocopying, it won't work. And then it'll go back and forth. So I find I have really found the printers to be very discriminate. That basically means hacking and technical interference. I also wanted to show you, aside from this lovely artwork by the creative printer, I got this. As you can see, it looks like some kind of bed sheet is being pulled over my head. I don't know if that means I'm dead. And then you see the stripes. You see how the stripes are underneath? Like, it's not going